Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How we feeling? How we doing? How we been? Hope you've been good. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Being a nice guy, I think back in the day, you did. You wanted to be a guy because a nice guy because you wanted to help people out. But honestly, let's talk about why you really were a nice guy. A lot of times you were a nice guy because let's think about it. Even to be a bad boy, a lot of times you were getting into trouble. You were doing all the other kind of stuff. So it was good to be a nice guy. And also, too, nice guys, you thought when you were being a nice guy, it would get you a bunch of nice things. It would get you to a point where you could, have more girls, have more, a better time because you were the nice guy. You were the one that was, you treated people good. And, you were always the one there to lend a helping hand, always the one to be there to do this for people. And so what happens is that over time, you start to think to yourself, hey, is being a nice guy the best thing to be? Is being a nice guy the person that you actually are? Or were you just being this nice person or appearing to be this nice person so that you could get things? And so you think about it, when you're a nice guy, especially when it comes down to dating or relationships or friendships, does your nice guyness get you taken advantage of? Does your nice guyness get you to a point where you start to get frustrated because you think that people are asking or wanting of you that they may be apprehensive to ask of someone else? And then you start to do a comparison and you start to say, hey, listen, do I get the same amount of respect as the bad boy? Do I get the same amount of respect as somebody who's just like cool and just does just enough, but they wind up still getting the results that they want? Because that's all I really like to think about and talk about are really what are the results? The purpose of me talking is not to talk, but just to see where we can get the best possible results out of whatever situation we're looking to. And years ago, I used to think that being a nice guy could produce the best results. And I'm glad because I think being a nice guy is in your heart. It's something that I think most people are. But of course, most people get jaded. It just depends on when you kind of learn your lesson as to when to get in and get out and be a nice guy. But as I thought about being a nice guy, I thought about it from the perspective of, for me, maybe a lot of the nice guys, times of being a nice guy, I know some of it was because of, it's like I said, just in me, in my heart. But I think another big part of it too is that because maybe I don't want to say playing nice because I don't want to look at it like that, but being nicer because ultimately there were things that I wanted, but maybe I just wasn't strong enough to say it. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten to that point, maybe over the last 10 years, 15 years, where I'm strong enough to say it. Where, still, if you're a nice person, you're a nice person, right? But still, being more direct, being more blunt with saying what I feel at least 75% of the time. Now, we all know you are who you are, player. So if you're a nice person, you're just a nice person. So, I'm still a gentleman. I'm still respectful. I still don't put people out of my car, tell them walk home and do something like that, because that's just not in me, because I'm a gentleman. But I also had to realize that, as I've said before, I had to start putting boundaries on my nice guyness, because that is true. It's a saying that nice guys finish last, because people feel like if you're a nice guy, you're not going to come looking for retribution. You're not going to come guns a-blazing after them. So, that's the big thing about with human nature, because we always try to say violence isn't the key, or stay away from violence, or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, people either have respect for you, usually for two different reasons. They either admire something you do or the way you act, or they fear you. It's rarely because you're nice. Because think about it, even the people that are nice, people still have something to say about him. He's a nice guy, but he didn't do this and he didn't do that. He's a nice guy, but he's such and such and such and such. So I look at it like this now. Forget the nice guy. I just look at it as more as I'm a good guy, but don't push it. I'm a good guy, but don't test it. Because when you're nice, it's amazing how people, you'll get that, oh, he's so nice. Oh, she's so nice. But there's still a certain level of respect that when push comes to shove can be challenged. Sometimes will be challenged. I mean, maybe not physically, because usually by the time you get at certain ages and dealing with other people at certain ages, it becomes mental and emotional. And none of us are perfect, and some of us still fall victim to trying to deal with situations the best way possible. But I've noticed, and even to the core, I still feel like I am who I am from even when I started to understand who I was, maybe as a teenager or early 20s. But I'm not. I'm not as nice as, and I know this because I've had people tell me this too, but I'm not as nice as maybe say once upon a time. I'm not as understanding as probably once upon a time. And it's because over the course of life, whether for better or for worse, you get jaded. You become apprehensive as far as how you interact with people. Because as I've said before, especially with men, we all know, guys, you're virtually nothing without respect. Without respect, you're just like a blob just hanging around on earth. Because respect gets things done. Like, if a person says that they're going to call you back, and we get it, sometimes a person can't call you back for a while. Person says they're going to call you back, but they repeatedly don't call you back. They repeatedly don't check in with you. They repeatedly miss things. They repeatedly don't show up for you. And we've talked about a couple of those things before. How much respect do they really have for you? How much respect does she really have for you? How much respect do your kids have for you? Because, I look at it like this. Let other people eventually call you a nice guy. You, me, we have to stand on principles and boundaries as men. Or if you're watching, women. Not based off of being some nice guy, some good person. Because I'm telling you, know a bunch of good people. Especially a bunch of good guys. Bunch of good guys. And some of the treatment that they receive for being these good people, in my estimation, just isn't right. I feel like, and not just because I know them, but because I feel like these good people, these guys, they should be held at the highest possible standard because they've put in the work. They've done things. They've been nice guys. They've been good guys. They've done the work to be treated with the highest level of respect. But in human nature, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. In human nature, because we're all so self-absorbed at times that it's hard for us to see, recognize, and appreciate the nice people in life. We don't know how to talk to them. We don't know how to deal with them. We don't know how to effectively communicate with them. But a lot of people know how to effectively manipulate them. Isn't that something? We all know how to manipulate. but we don't know all how to congratulate. And that's not just by saying congratulations. It's about showing. It's about showing up. It's about doing something, for your friend. And it doesn't have to be money, but just doing something for your friend when they're not even expecting it. Like, I'll have friends, who watch this and, they'll send a message or they'll say something or they'll say the little tagline, live life, live like whatever. A lot of the guys, and I appreciate that. But the thing is that as we all get older, regardless as to what age you are, because we're all still aging and growing, you make sure that people see the best side of you, but the good side. And, maybe we need to change it around. And you need to say to them, hey, look, don't let me have to bring that nice guy side out. I don't want to have to bring that nice guy side out on you. You know what I mean? Because if I gotta bring that nice guy side out, you ain't gonna like that. So that's what we're changing it to. We're the good guys. As Stevie J used to say on Love and Hip Hop or one of them things. We're the good guys. So treat the good guys with respect. Treat the good guys the way they should be treated. Treat the good ladies the way that they should be treated. And remember, we know how it goes. Respect goes two ways. It's funny how people sometimes don't remember that. They only think that it's a one-way street. So next time before you say something about somebody or, especially to their face, think about it. Think about what you're saying and say to them, I'm going to tell you, don't let this nice guy fool you. And don't let this nice guy come out of character. But hey, it's only one guy's opinion. Tell me what you think. And until next time, live life. Don't let life live you.